So in 1998, the late Dr. Alex Ekwueme went ahead and formed the party called PDP. And the only reason why this man formed that party was because he wanted to become Nigerian president. Don't forget, he lost it so many years back. So in 1998, he now said, okay, I'm going to form that party. So because that particular time, there was a crisis between the northern part of Nigeria and the southwest and the south because of the issue of the late MKO Abiola. So these people now looked at it and they said the only person that they chose, the only person that can bring peace to Nigeria was the late, Alex Ekwueme. So they wanted him to build the bridge between the northern part of Nigeria and the southern part of Nigeria. So when this man formed that party, then the confidence of the people from the south now returned back to the name called Nigeria. So when the northerners now find out that, okay, they have been able to win the heart of the southern part of Nigeria through Alex Ekwueme, so they now also betrayed Alex Ekwueme. That was the second time that the people from the north had to betray Alex Ekwueme. Honestly, it's quite frustrating when people claim that Atiku Abubakar formed the PDP. That is not true. Atiku never formed the PDP. The original person that formed the PDP was Alex Ekwueme. Dr. Alex Ekwueme was the visionary behind the name and the vision of PDP. As a matter of fact, he was the one that even named that party, People's Democratic Party. He was the one that named them that name. He gave them that name. So you see, Atiku, let me tell you how Atiku came into PDP. Because when Alex Ekwueme formed PDP with some other, big shot like that of Gowon and what's it called again, Professor Jerry Ghana and some other guys like that. So Atiku, had to come in because Atiku, had the money. The money was with Atiku. And these guys, they never stood money from the Nigerian purse. I'm talking about Dr. Alex Ekwueme, because Dr. Alex Ekwueme was the vice president to Shagari 1979 to 1983. They never stole money. So if you ask me, I will tell you that that government remained the most honest government when it comes to Nigeria, because that was the Second Republic. So they were the best, because the First Republic government was not good, but the second was good. The third and the fourth that we're in now. So that Second Republic that was, that was pioneered by the likes of Shagari and Alex Ekwueme. They did so much thing that time. Then I was a young guy, a young boy, but I knew what happened that particular time. So let me go back now. So Atiku came into that party with an agreement with Alex Ekwueme, because Alex Ekwueme was the person that people were looking at, that this man will be our next president and this man will be able to restore the pride of Nigeria. So everybody, because the reason why Alex created that party was because he wants to become the Nigerian president. And those people that came to form that party with him, they all agreed that yes, they will give it to him, because he was denied that same thing in 1983, because it was just few months to end Shagari's first tenure, because the agreement that Alex had with Shagari then in 1979 was that Shagari, after the first tenure, he was not going to go for second tenure. Then Alex will be able to come into the NPN, as a presidential candidate, and everyone from the north and some other place will support him. Then he will be able to win the election. But before the expiration of that Shagari's government, then Buhari from the north, a Fulani man, overthrew that government. So now, after so many years again, Alex now went and formed that party. Don't forget that even the NPN, before that 1979, that party was also, formed by Alex Ekwueme, because Alex Ekwueme was still the brain, the strength behind NPN before 1979. So after all this game and all this, whatever they did against him, so he now came back again in 1998 to form PDP. So this guy now brought in Atiku. So they had an agreement that, look, I'm going to be the presidential candidate, then Atiku will now be the vice president. So Atiku wanted to become president and Alex Ekwueme will become the vice president. But Alex Ekwueme was very smart. He said, no, because this thing has happened before. So now it's my own turn. Just like that man, the president says, Emi no come. So Alex Ekwueme told them that in 1979, that he had an ambition, but he had to surrender the ambition to Shagari. So he now said, but in this Fourth Republic, that he's not going to surrender anything to anybody. That the only alliance that he was going to build for someone from any other place to become his vice president, that he wants to fulfill his own dream to become the Nigerian president. So Alex Ekwueme reached a deal with Atiku and the other Northerners that he was going to become the president, then Atiku will be a vice president, then after his own tenure got over, then Atiku now can become the president. So Atiku now agreed with that deal. So they signed some papers and Atiku said, okay, now I can bring in my money into the party. So that was how Atiku brought money into PDP. So it's not as if Atiku was there when the vision of PDP was conceived, or Atiku was among the pioneers that formed PDP. The PDP was already formed, but they were not having money to run the party. And unless Ekwueme doesn't want to take money from the military to run the party, so he had to now, ask Atiku to come. Because if Atiku actually was the pioneer of PDP, or Atiku was there when the vision was conceived, Atiku will not be running from one party to another party. It's as if you just build a very big company where you have invested your time, your energy, and you know that the structure of that company belongs to you. You can't just leave it and begin to go to another place to go and be, building other places. No, you want to be there and make sure that that thing does not crumble. Nobody wants his business to crumble. So Atiku has no structure when it comes to PDP. Atiku has no strength. No, Atiku has nothing. The only thing that brought in Atiku into that party was because of his money. Yes, that was why Alex Ekwueme had to invite him to that party. So do you know what happened? Even, see, that's why I'm saying that Obi shouldn't make the same mistake that was made by Dr. Alex Ekwueme. Yes, because if Ekwueme had not agreed to have, an agreement with the Northerners, they will not betray him. Because when they were like planning to do that just convention, the PDP convention, so what the Northerners now did was to go to the prison, and they now brought out Obasanjo. They brought out Obasanjo. They now gave him money to buy the ticket, because that was a betrayal. Because even if you're bringing in Obasanjo from the prison, then you are not supposed to give him money to buy ticket, or even bring him to come and become a presidential candidate. And they said that they want to use that to appease the people from the Southwest, because that time, because of the issue of Abiola and like that, so there were crises. But I don't think that was true. That was not true, because you see, they knew that that particular time the people from the Southwest and the South, they were not in good terms with them. So what they did was to go and build alliance with the Southeast people. So after building an alliance with the Southeast people, so they now look at it now, that's okay, if we give him president, something might happen. This guy might, because before 1979, Alex Ekwueme was talking about restructuring. So that was why they did not give him the ticket. So they now gave, Shagari, and now allow him to become, vice president. So they had an agreement. So now they brought in Alex Ekwueme, because the reason why they brought in, they allow even Alex Ekwueme to become vice president in 1979, because they needed the vote from the Southeast. That was why they brought in Alex Ekwueme, because the other party, UPN featured Awolowo. So they were so sure that Awolowo was going to get the vote from the Southwest and the South. So, and Awolowo now, used Nnamdi Azikiwe as the vice president. So they wanted to share the vote in the Southeast. So look at the game now. So Shagari will get the vote from the North. Then Alex Ekwueme will get half of the vote in the Southeast. Then, so with that, they will be able to win the election, because in Nigeria, one region or so cannot win. The South cannot win election alone. The North cannot win election alone. So if the Northerners wants to win election, they need to build alliance with one of another region in Nigeria. The same way, if the South wants to win election, they have to build alliance with one or two other region in the North. So that was the reason why they brought in Alex Ekwueme, just because they want to get half of the vote from the South. So that election came, and Alex Ekwueme and Shagari won that election. So like I said, Alex was supposed to become the party presidential flag bearer in 1983, because the agreement that Alex Ekwueme had with Shagari was that Shagari will just go for one term, because in that 1979 election, the candidate of Shagari and Obafemi Awolowo, those guys were not on the same level. So the reason why people even backed Shagari was because of Alex Ekwueme, because Alex Ekwueme and that of Awolowo, they were on the same level, because even Alex Ekwueme, I respect, what's it called, Nnamdi Azikiwe, but when it comes to, organization, I tell you, you give it to Alex Ekwueme. So because of Alex Ekwueme, so they were like, so okay, they can so Shagari was just like a figurehead. Shagari was just a figurehead. Every economic, strategies that they used during that 3 years, some months, was brought in by Alex Ekwueme. So they had this agreement that, look, after 4 years, I'm going to be the next president. But what happened? Because that's why I'm saying that Peter Obi shouldn't make that mistake that Alex Ekwueme made. Don't make that mistake. Don't make that mistake. If you make that mistake, oh my God, I don't think, it's going to be well with some people that advise you to make that mistakes. You understand? Because these people, they will betray, because Atiku now is having closed door meeting with Peter Obi. All what Atiku wants is just to grab power. Atiku is promising Peter Obi that, look, I'm just going to be a one-term president. That was the same thing that Shagari and these other people told Alex Ekwueme. But before that first tenure finish, because it was just few months for them to finish their first tenure, there was a coup in Nigeria. Then another person came from the same tribe with Shagari. The same tribe came, and the person now used gun to overthrow Shagari, and that person became the military president of Nigeria. That's I'm talking about General Buhari. So what I'm trying to say now is that then in 1998, I started by saying that the person that got the vision for PDP was the late Alex Ekwueme. So in 1998, after all these things, Alex Ekwueme now went and formed PDP. So the main reason why Alex Ekwueme formed PDP was because he wants to become president. Because as at that time, the North and the Southwest and the South, they were already in disarray. Their relationship has already scattered. They were not in good terms. So now Alex Ekwueme was the only person, when I mean the only person, the only, matured politician then that didn't have any military affiliation. There was no military affiliation affiliated to him. So he doesn't have any military connection, nothing with the military. So they now said, okay, Alex Ekwueme now formed PDP. The ordinary Northerners, they like him. Because if you talk about the history of Nigerian politicians, maybe Peter Obi is trying right now, but Alex Ekwueme was much more loved. I've never seen anyone from the Southeast politician that was loved the way they loved Alex Ekwueme. So when this man formed this party, with the aim to become the Nigerian president, but at the end of the day, they also betrayed him. They betrayed him because during the convention that was held in Jos, I followed that convention. I was like 25 or 26 years of age then. I followed up with the convention because everybody knew that the man was robbed. Because even before the convention, everywhere you go to, anywhere you see people talking about, they're all talking about Alex Ekwueme. People were so hopeful. People were so optimistic. People were like saying, oh, a new dawn has come to Nigeria. People were like saying that, oh, this country is going to be great again. Nigeria is going to experience revival, restoration. Nigeria is going to experience prosperity because everybody knows what Dr. Alex Ekwueme, what the man can do. So even in my room that time, all his posters, I flooded my room with all his posters. You go to every corner in Lagos, you go to the north side, because that period I was opportune to travel to Borno State. You go to everywhere, you see his banner. They love him. He was a man that they love so much. But what happened in Jos? The same people that never wanted him to become president in 1983, they also robbed him. I'm telling you, because what they did was that they went to the prison, they brought in Obasanjo, they gave him the ticket, Senate, and in everyone's presence, the delegate that was supposed to vote for Alex Ekwueme, they gave them money. They gave them money. Even the delegate that followed Alex Ekwueme from the east to Plateau State in Jos in that convention, they also gave them money. In Alex Ekweme's presence, you see envelope exchanging hands. The man started crying. The man burst into tears. The man burst into tears. That's why you see that after the 2023 election, Obi burst into tears. He burst into tears because when you knew that they robbed you on broad daylight, you will cry. Because now you know you don't have the money to fight them. You don't have the military might. You don't have the, whatever to fight them. So such system is always very difficult for them to progress. That is where we are today. That is where we find ourselves. So now in 2025, now Atiku now wants to lure Obi to become his vice president. Why is it so difficult for Atiku to give Obi support? Give him support. At least there was a time Obi was your vice president. So Obi left you in 2023 and went on his own without any government connection, without any financial strength. Obi was able to pull more than 6 million votes on his own with an unknown party, Labour Party that was not known. He was able to pull that vote. So what stops you for you to endorse him for presidency, then allow someone else to come as a vice president, then you can become a godfather to him? Yes, that is what I'm saying. Because if they are actually serious, if Atiku and El-Rufai, if they are really serious, because these guys are power drunk, go and check some countries in West Africa that is being led by these same people. They don't allow progress. They don't allow the country to go forward. I'm telling you, they don't allow progress. Go to Sierra Leone, go to Gambia, go to Guinea. These places, that same tribe, they are the one ruling those areas. They don't allow progress. They don't allow civilization. You can't see any infrastructure. They look at Nigeria, a nation that was colonized by British. It took us many, many years to be able to have GSM. If not for Obasanjo that, said no, this thing must happen. Because when Obasanjo was there 1976 to 1979, Obasanjo issued the contract for GSM. But when Shagari came, Shagari overturned it. I'm telling you. So Obasanjo had to come back in 1999 and say, no, this thing must be done. That if not for Obasanjo, we will not be able to have all these things that we are using. And there is nothing we can do. This is to tell you that these people, they don't want progress. They don't want development. They don't want development. So I'm saying it. Anybody that knows him, because now there is one meeting or the other, they want him, they want to lure him, they want to deceive him, because if they deceive him, he's not going to get power in 2031. So I am still saying that Peter Obi, if you want to contest, still contest as, look for someone that is very strong in the north and be the front runner, be the presidential candidate. Don't become any vice president to anybody in the north. They will betray you. Instead of them to betray you, then you be the one that will become president, and you tell them that you are going to do 4 years. After 4 years, you give them power. Tell them that way. Don't become their vice president, because what they want to do is to betray. They will betray you the way they betray Alex Ekwueme. That is what I'm telling you. So for those of you that think that what I'm saying is not right, or maybe my analysis is not balanced, then you can leave your comment under this comment section. Yes, this is Kilaza TV. If you have not subscribed to this channel, you should go ahead and subscribe and like the post. They are so concerned about the Nigerian politics. So I'll be bringing you more updates. I'll be bringing you more deep analysis about the Nigerian politics. Yes. So God bless you and have a nice evening.